Hello to everybody who has that tattoo. You know the one. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. I know not everybody likes a long intro. I get it. Skip about 6 minutes ahead. That'll put you right towards the end of the intro. Thanks so much. Enjoy. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous, as I sometimes say, a show where we look at the human condition one anonymous phone call at a time. That is true this week, maybe as much or more than any other. Looking at some very specific conditions of the human condition. We'll talk about that momentarily. Thanks so much to everybody who has been ordering t-shirts at chrisgethard.bigcartel.com. I try to pack up like 10 a day. If you're waiting on an order, just keep in mind I'm doing it myself. Andrea has offered to help. My friend Jared came by the office one day. He helped a little bit. But by and large, that's that. Also, keep in mind, when you get that envelope, that's me that wrote your address on it. And if you're looking at it going like, oh, this tape looks kind of messy, it's because the tape got stuck and I personally got frustrated and just jammed stuck-up tape on your thing. Okay, that happened maybe 90 minutes ago when I was packing up t-shirt orders, so I just want to be clear. If it looks like it was haphazardly packed, that was just a sign that my mind was breaking. Thanks so much for supporting the show via the t-shirts. Thanks so much if you sign up at beautifulanonymous.com. Remember, if you do, you get your episodes ad-free. I think that's the most important thing you get. You get extra time with each caller. You, at that top tier, get a secret phone number once a month and a follow-up call with a prior caller. Don't forget, we're out here looking for callers who reach back 10 years in the show's history. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. Andrea had a fantastic idea to look for follow-up callers who are from our first year. So if you are listening and you called the show during our first year of existence, maybe we've lost touch along the way. We want to talk with you again, hear how you're doing. Reach out. Andrea has a dedicated email address, and that email address is beautanon10years@gmail.com. That's BEAUTANONTENYEARS@gmail.com. And that could be cool. And I think it will be cool. Who knows how many callers we'll get from 10 years into our past, but I hope to catch up with some people I haven't talked to in a decade, hear how everybody's doing. I know life has changed for me so much in that time. I'm sure it has for you too. And I can't wait to catch up with people. Also have to say, we have started getting our first submissions for issue 2 of Beautiful Anonymous, the magazine. I'm really excited about it. Even though the magazine was a titanic effort, there was no way to not do it again. I haven't even unboxed any of them. Maybe I'll do that on video, Andrea, but I'm starting to gather up all the stuff that's showing up at the P.O. Box. If you want to turn something in, it can be anything. Submissions for the magazine. Last time we had people turning in random photos with no explanation, recipes, poems, stories, handwritten notes, art, stickers, pieces of wood with art on them. All of it was so cool. If you have something you want to turn in anonymously for inclusion in issue 2 of Beautiful Anonymous, the magazine, the address is Chris Gethard, P.O. Box 972, New Vernon, New Jersey, 07976. That's Chris Gethard, P.O. Box 972, New Vernon, New Jersey, 07976. Okay, I think that's all the business I want to get through. Oh, I should mention, of course, I got another edition of That Show with Chris Gethard coming up at the UCB Theater. That is just a couple weeks away. That's on November 12th. Yeah, November 12th at 10 p.m. Come on out if you're in the New York area. The lineup is completely stacked. It's crazy. And co-hosting the show with me is Wally Baram, who I've only recently gotten to know a little bit through stand-up. and quickly realized Wally once produced a movie about hot dogs in New Jersey. So I think we're going to discuss hot dogs in New Jersey a lot during this show. I might even drive around New Jersey day off and pick up a bunch of hot dogs and bring them and give them away to the audience, even though they'll be slightly old and cold by the time I can. Doesn't really matter to me. I want to have fun. So come on out for that. And I haven't been on the road doing much stand-up, but one of my favorite clubs, the Vermont Comedy Club in Burlington, they're having an anniversary, and they asked me to come up because I'm someone who performed there in their early days. So I will be in Burlington, Vermont at the Vermont Comedy Club. That's on November 21st and 22nd. There's an early show and a late show. This will be stand-up comedy, and I'm really psyched to do it. And my Jersey people, the night before, November 20th, I'm doing like a working it out, all new material show at the Dojo in Morris Plains. And that one should be interesting because I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff against the wall. So New Yorkers, New Jersey, Vermont, might see you soon. punchup.live/Chris Gethard for all of those tour dates. And that's that. Thanks so much. This week's episode, I'm very psyched for you to hear it. This caller has an area of expertise that we get into. Caller's backstory is also the reason for the area of expertise. And if I have one regret about this call, it's that we didn't get to talk enough about how personal the experience was that led them down this road. Because there's so much to say about the topic itself. The caller is someone who knows a lot and whose professional life relates to helping people learn about hoarding disorder. And I think we all have an image in our mind of what that is and what it looks like. But as you'll soon hear, it takes on more forms than the popular cliche. It affects way more people than I think any of us would assume. And there's all sorts of thoughts about what this is, where it comes from, why it happens, and how to treat people when they're dealing with it. And this caller has true passion for the topic. It shines through. I think a lot of you are going to be super interested to just learn about an area of life that you've heard a lot about, but maybe haven't heard about this specifically from this many angles. Enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. It's great to hear you personally. Awesome. Do you know what waiting for you is like?
No, but I do know your vibes
Have you ever
are
been...
coming out of the gate so hard in a positive way.
Do you know why? It's your music. Listen to what this experience was like, waiting for you. Do you happen to like water slides by any chance?
Yeah, I do. I do enjoy a good water
slide person. Well, you know how when you're climbing up for the water slide, it's like, ooh, your heart starts pumping. And then you get to a certain point and they have a sign up and it says, okay, this is your turnaround point if you don't want to go through with it. And then some people, you know, they duck out. That's what it's like waiting for you because you're so psyched. The music is awesome. And then there's a little warning that she put in there like, okay, everybody, this is the turnaround point if you think you might not want to really do this. And it just totally reminded me of like climbing the stairs. Oh boy, I'm going to the next level of the stairs. I'm going to get there. And then I'm going to have to go down and I'm going to scream.
I got to say, I hope this call doesn't get real sad because I'm loving, this feels like a party. You're bringing up water slides.
Yay.
I'm
so happy. I can make it not sad. I can keep it not sad.
Also, if you wanted to get sad, I shouldn't even say that. If you wanted to get sad, it can get sad.
I don't need sad.
Whatever you want it to be.
I can get sad on my own with my kitty. Thank you. It's really good to talk to you. So, where do I start? Are you well? Are things good with you and your family?
Yeah. I would say in general, yeah. Definitely some ups and downs. Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we all care about you, you know.
That's very nice.
It goes both ways.
That's very nice. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, and if maybe people have been sensing something's a little off lately, maybe that's why you're bringing it up, and you're not wrong. But I think everybody's okay. I'm okay. Everybody's okay.
I'm glad you're okay. And I feel the reason I brought it up is because I feel like we're all kind of feeling that kind of vibe in our own lives. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's like got it smooth sailing right now.
Yeah, I hear
So
that.
we're in it together, all of us.
I hear
We're
that.
all in this together. Mm-hmm.
I will say, just about an hour ago, realized that Hallie there's this thing called Class Dojo where the teacher can share pictures of things happening in the class. And Hallie was on it. I didn't even realize it was up and running this year. So I emailed Cal's teacher, and she added me. And I found that his get to know you picture from earlier in the year, which went out to all the parents, involved him holding a sign that said, "I can climb high and do backflips." And he was looking cool as hell in the picture. So that's got me in a great mood. Because he can do those things.
I love it. Well, that totally fits.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
we'll keep that up. Let's see if we can keep that up.
Real cool guy. What is your story?
Cal now?
He's 6.5.
Can I just know how old Cal is?
He's 6.5. He's crushing it.
I remember when he wasn't born yet, you know?
I know. Everybody's following this show from the beginning has watched me go from a self-focused hipster comedian to someone who has had to change all my priorities in life. The
funniest thing to me is the dog, I gotta say.
Oof.
Do you like cats?
Yeah, I like cats.
I'm a cat person, personally.
I grew up with cats.
Yeah. I like cats better. It's just the chill, is better with cats.
I can't make comments like this anymore. I'm not, apparently the only thing worse than not being a dog person is having anything iffy to say about a dog when you own a dog. That people really don't like that.
Let me turn my toot around. I love dogs. They're super fun. I actually had one in my car this week giving it a ride. They're great. But you know what? I really think that people who identify strongly as either cat or dog people, I believe that we have very different sensory systems. Because, for example, I am really triggered. I get stressed out by barking. Even if it's across the street, it's like,
Yeah.
And I like the quiet of cats. So I don't want to say anything bad about dogs either.
I'm with you.
I do like them. They're just different.
I'm with you. I love it.
Okay.
What's your story? Tell me everything.
Oh my gosh, Chris, I've had such a wild and wacky, winding, twisty road. I'm older than maybe all of your callers.
You sound young.
I know I sound it, but I'm not. That way.
Real youthful vibes.
Thank you. I feel like a youthful spirit. I really do. This vibe, I just feel like I'm the age that I am and I've always been it, kind of. I think my spirit's always been this way, no matter how old I've been, which has been annoying to some people. But
now you do know that we've had callers on the show who are 100 years old.
No.
I think episode 100, we had 2 callers who were each 100.
I did not know that.
So you're not the oldest caller ever. However old you are, I doubt you're 101.
I'm not that. And I don't think I want to get to that either, but we'll see what technology does before then. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So I am a middle-ish aged person. And I went back to school when I was 30. Mm-hmm. Before then, I traveled a lot. I never really had a traditional plan going. So what should I start with? Let's see. I've lived in Israel. I've lived in England. And then I lived in Miami, and now I'm in New England. And I never planned to be up here, and I never planned to be doing what I'm doing now. So,
two questions about that. What are you doing now? And also, out of all those very different from each other places, what's been your favorite place to live?
Okay. So what I do now is I'm a mental health educator.
Well done.
And peer supporter. Thank you. Well done to you on your work, too. I love all of us out there doing what we can. Yep. And so my specialty is hoarding disorder. That is mostly what I teach about. And I never planned to do that. It happened kind of accidentally.
Wow. How does one become a specialist on hoarding disorder without intending to do so?
Oh, goodness. It's like I fell in a hole and there I was. I studied psychology, and I happened to study at a school where the professor who founded the field of hoarding disorder taught at, and I actually was in his classes, and I thought, okay, I'll set this aside now. And I ended up marrying someone who I realized had hoarding disorder. After I was married, I realized it.
Oh, boy.
Oops. We had some stuff to work out.
How long were you together before you got engaged?
Oh, goodness me. We were together 3 months, and then we were together 6 months before we got married. Yeah. I just thought this was the perfect deal. Got the tattoo wedding ring.
Oh, got the tattoo wedding ring.
Sure did.
Sounds like not still married.
Dun, dun, dun. Foreshadowing.
Sounds like not still married.
No. No. We had a good run. Good long run. I feel like I got a PhD in psychology after my marriage from all the things, life has brought.
How bad did the hoarding get?
Well, I got it pretty much in the beginning because I realized that when we were moving, we had shared a place with other roommates, and people were coming in and out, and there was a lot of stuff all over. Who knew what was what? And then we were going to move into our own place, a studio apartment, and I was planning the move, and I was curious to know what he was going to be bringing, and he kind of told me he planned to bring everything. And not only that, there was more everything than I even knew. So I went, what? No, you can't be doing that because we're moving to a studio apartment. Like, it's not going to fit. It's like, yeah, it's all coming. And I'm like, dude, it's not all going to fit.
And what items do you remember?
Well, it's coming.
Which items jump out in your memory as particularly representative of, this is out of control?
Well, first I want to say that I do not want to speak negatively about this person at all. I want to make it clear at that. This person is super creative and talented. So the thing that stood out the most, I would say, there's a lot of artwork, but it wasn't just kind of one edition of it. It was like many copies, multiples of stuff.
Okay. So cool stuff taken to excess.
Yes, a lot of cool stuff. Cool stuff taken to excess. That is a fantastic summary line. Cool stuff taken to excess. Yeah, that's what I would used to sum that situation up.
So not what we all have in our head of the,
no,
big piles
not.
of newspapers, sugar packets going back 50 years.
No, but guess what? One of my main roles in the world is to destigmatize this subject. And most people who know anything about it, besides personally, they've seen it on the show by that name. And that show does not represent the wide spectrum of people who are affected by this disorder. But it leads audiences to generalize, and it increases stigma because people have extremely negative associations with people who hoard because of what they see on the show. Mm-hmm. So I'm out here like teaching, don't use the H word like all the time. I'm also welcoming people to help because a lot of times people think it's just older people, people with gray hair who have hoarding issues. But that's not true. It can start when someone is in their teens. And so by the time someone has a family, like in their 30s, it can be really amped up. And there can be children growing up in these situations, but people usually don't think about that.
I love so much of what you're saying. Also, just in general, I feel like shows that look at this exact type of situation, I feel like history will not judge them fondly, right? There's a certain classification of show that's like, and these are things that are not the same, but shows that pretend to be compassionate but are actually just the modern day version of like a circus freak show, right? Let's be honest about what they are. Like a show about hoarders as entertainment called Hoarders is 2 bits a gander to look at the crazy living situation. That's the premise of that show. In the same way that, I don't trust a show that's on, a show about, hey, we're going to watch people who are obese desperately try to lose weight as part of a TV show. And then and the other things on this network are like clip shows of skateboarders wiping out. So I don't trust that this has any compassion or empathy behind it. It's gawk at those who are different than you in the same way that P.T. Barnum used to do.
Right. It pretty much is. But you know what? When I went looking for help for me, first of all, because you can only control yourself. You can't control the other person. So I went looking for help for me, and there was nothing. Everything was about how to help the person with hoarding disorder. And then it's like family members, do you want help? And you click, and it's Hoarders, the TV show, offering me help. And that is the last thing that would have worked for my family is to have the Hoarders TV show come in. But, get ready for this. I do personally know people who have been helped by that show. Great. And have appreciated the help they got from that show. But the larger picture is it's stigmatizing. So I feel like generally speaking, it does more harm than good. But I will say that I do know a few people that, it kind of saved their families. But generally speaking,
you're very
I stay
kind.
away from that kind of stuff.
You're very fair. But I think about it with all of it. It's the same. It's the same reason that you look back at the 90s and go, cops. It's not really a show about following cops. It's a show about you laughing at someone with a drug problem getting arrested in a demeaning situation in their life, right? Like it's the first 48.
They had a good song.
Great song. The first 48
bad
is
boys,
another show.
Bad boys,
what you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.
The song was great. I mean, the song sucks you right into the room. Like, I kind of want to flip the channel now and see if it's on.
The song went a long way. It was
terrible. It was a bad show.
You look back at it, you go, you're just laughing at someone who's like smoked a bunch of meth and having the worst night of their life. That's why you turn the show on, not to find out how police work. Similar, you read into the first 48. 48.
used to watch it. I did.
Of course, we all did. First 48's the modern version. You start to, look into some of the exposés on that show, and there, our police, there are situations that are documented where, to try to make sure they look good on a TV show, police have arrested the wrong people, and those people are on TV getting their names and likenesses blasted out. And then, of course, at the end, they go, all parties are innocent until proven guilty. But it's like, that doesn't change the fact that you were just on a very, very popular TV show saying you committed murder. Like, it's
right.
Entertainment as...
But you know what?
Yeah, what? I love it. I love this combo.
What about, there's an exception. There's an exception to what we're talking about.
What is it?
Cheaters. I love that show.
Haven't watched it.
I don't watch it anymore.
Why not?
But I went through like a phase of I'm over it. The filthiness and it's like I can't take any more of that at this point in my life. It's not entertainment to me anymore, but you should check it out. It's called Cheaters, and the guy, what was his name that was the host? The guy is awesome, the host, Joey something, I can't remember. Look at the early Cheaters and tell me what you think of those sometime.
I'll have to check it out. You'll have to check it out
because you can picture probably what it is, right? I mean, they get the private eyes, like we know where he is. We've seen them enter the property together. And then you go on a hunt, you're rooting, like, let's find him, get him. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, the backstory of your current focus is that you were in a marriage where it sounds like things moved quick.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out you maybe didn't know each other as well as you thought when you got married. You find out that there's a situation.
Everything looked so great, though. I have to say. I was just absolutely convinced that everything was, all the puzzle pieces were fitting in just right. I believed. I did.
I'm sure. But the thing that I find very interesting is to wind up in that situation, to realize what's going on there sounds really difficult. You said, you're looking for help. You can't find any help as the family member. And now, however many years later, this is the focus of your professional life. I would think there's a part of you that would want to move on and not have this be the focus. Because I have to imagine removing yourself. Well, the dissolution of that marriage doesn't sound like it was easy.
That is such a great observation you're making. So listen to this. Just this week, I had someone in my car who doesn't know me well, and she was talking about my work, and she was, well, you must love that. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. But my public-facing persona is, of course, like, I totally love it. But in my head, I'm like, how do I feel about this? I don't know. And then yesterday, I was teaching, and it was an hour's drive away, and it's gorgeous autumn in New England. And I'm thinking, do I love what I do? Do I not love what I do? When I was a kid, I would notice, I talk to adults a lot, and I would kind of see like a dead eye look in their face. And I would, like, as a child, like, want to know, like, what destroyed their soul? Like, totally, this absorbed me as a kid. I was just like, I could spot a dead souled adult like miles away. And so I've realized that I've kind of started to get that look in my eyes right now. As you can hear in my voice, I'm kind of coming out of that, but I realized I was getting it. But I was thinking on my drive about me as a little kid, like wondering what I would say to me as a child about my feelings for this work. So I get to the place where I'm going to teach, an hour's drive. It's beautiful. All back roads. The trees are totally like fireworks everywhere. Get in, I'm going to teach a class of about 30 people who don't have any education on hoarding disorder. And as soon as I'm with the people, and I get going, and connecting with people and seeing lights turning on for them and seeing hearts opening and seeing things like electric in the room and seeing people who might not have had any interest, but who are really like perked up. And they're going to walk out of here and they are going to know a lot of stuff about hoarding disorder. And I thought while I was up there, I do love this. I do love it. It's a mixed bag because it has been a really hard aspect of my life that I would not have chosen. Like, I didn't think I was going to go into hoarding disorder work. I didn't feel like my life was going to be positioned in such a way that I would become an expert, an inside expert on hoarding disorder. So besides my psych degree, I have this experience of life.
Now,
and I really... go ahead.
I thought you were done. No, you really what?
I tend to collect collectors.
I tend to collect collectors. That sounds less like something you would say in the course of this phone call and more like a cryptic thing you'd say at the Act 2 turn of an action movie. That being said, I thought it was cool. We'll be right back. Everywhere you look right now, people are talking about weight loss medications. I am sure you have had conversations in your life about them. It's a common topic. It's the buzz at brunch. It's all over the group chats. You'll talk about it at the doctor's office. But how do you know if weight loss medications are right for you? Enter HERS. HERS is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to weight loss treatment plans for every budget. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. If prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program complete with ongoing care, check-ins, dosage and medication adjustments, and access to 24/7 online support at no additional cost. No hidden fees, no membership fees. Weight Loss by HERS is realistic, not restrictive. HERS provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectable options, with oral medication kits starting at just $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid up front in full. HERS puts your health and goals first with real medical providers, making sure you have what you need to get results, all from the comfort of your couch. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time to find the best option that works for you through HERS. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, HERS has you covered. Visit forhers.com/beautiful to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/beautiful, forhers.com/beautiful. Weight Loss by HERS is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety info, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. This episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack and hydration sponsor. IQBAR is the better-for-you plant protein-based snack made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. You've been hearing me talk about IQBAR and all their products for years. They are legit so great. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQBAR products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. IQ bars, plant protein bars, are the smarter snack choice. More fiber, less sugar and carbs than the alternatives, and they taste great. I carry them with me all the time. IQ Mix is awesome. I'm getting weirdly obsessed with it. It's a zero sugar drink mix that hydrates with electrolytes. It improves your mood and boosts your clarity. And of course, IQ Joe is jitter-free instant coffee. My wife calls them coffee sticks. She does a little dance when she makes them. They're her favorite thing in the world. And I would never lie about that. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all three. As you've heard, I'm a big fan. I legit eat IQ bars almost every day. The IQ Mix is, I have to be probably the number one fan of that drink, and my wife has to be the number one fan of IQ Joe. Also want to say this about IQ Mix. We're entering cold season. especially in major portions of America, right? Things are getting colder, flu season's coming. You're going to want to have some IQ Mix just on hand because it's an absolute great drink to recover if you're facing down a cold or facing down the flu. It has helped me through those tough times. So stock up now because you're going to want it in that cupboard. So knock on wood, you don't get sick, but if you do, you're going to want to have some IQ Mix right there. And right now, IQBAR is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQBAR products, including the sampler pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. That's BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal information from data broker websites. Delete Me knows your privacy is worth protecting. Sign up and provide Delete Me with exactly what information you want deleted, and their experts take it from there. Delete Me is not just a one-time service. Delete Me is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal info you don't want on the internet. There's a reason that the New York Times Wirecutter has named Delete Me their top pick for data removal services. I feel so lucky to be a Delete Me customer. I feel very safe in their hands. They just sent me my personalized report, and it came up that there were hundreds of sites that they had managed to make sure that it was pulled, my info was pulled and not re-added. And to know that they're there, constantly working, constantly checking, it's such a relief, especially if you have data you want protected. I know in my life, I live publicly and people are very nice to me, but some people have at times treaded upon the boundaries of what feels appropriate. So knowing that someone out there, it's not just for me, it makes me feel like I'm doing my part to keep my family safer because Delete Me has my back. It's awesome. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful and use promo code BEAUTIFUL at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is go to joindeleteme.com/beautiful. Enter promo code BEAUTIFUL at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/beautiful, code BEAUTIFUL. Thanks again to our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call.
I tend to collect collectors. I have learned that has been a theme in my life. And my partner and I even discussed how interesting that was. But I think there's a lot of people who are excessive finders and keepers are really interesting, fun, awesome, fantastic people. And so I'm apparently drawn to creatives that like to keep things.
Wow. Now, as someone who teaches courses, where it sounds like you're giving people the crash course into this, I'm wondering, I think one of the big questions myself and probably a lot of people listening have is, you know, obviously, as you said, the TV show stigmatizes things. We don't want to fall into cliches, but there are certainly documented cases of people who do not want to throw anything away, even if it is an absolute impediment to their health, to their life. This is real. And I think the big question is why? Like, you know, when you hear about, you know, one of the most famous cases ever, which I think you'll probably know a lot about.
The Collier Brothers.
The Collier Brothers. The Collier Brothers. That's exactly.
New York City. I always forget what year that was. Do you remember what year?
I wrote about them.
Was it the 30s?
I think it was the 1930s. And famously, they
I think so.
lived in an apartment where it was, you know, I think a lot of the cliches of hoarders, newspapers piled high. I think that was their reality, and it was such a famous case that it's probably one of the reasons that's become their cliche. But hear about these two brothers who lived in an apartment where there were things piled so high that they almost had to carve out corridors and pathways through stuff that was taller than they were. And I believe one of them passed in the house, and the other one was blind and couldn't find his way out. Like really gruesome, macabre stuff.
Yes. The brothers, one was kind of reliant upon the other brother to handle life because he was blind. And so one did pass from an avalanche situation. They had booby trapped the house.
Yes.
And one of their booby traps, like, backfired on them. And so the other brother couldn't get food or anything, is what I think happened.
I know there was a situation in my hometown. My friend Carson's backyard touched up against the property of a house that everyone in his neighborhood called them the witches, and they were all scared of them. And then it turned out they were actually hoarding inside, and the house caught fire, and there was so much stuff inside that the fire got out of control fast. And the fire department could not go in because one of the things they were hoarding was boxes of bullets, like actual bullets. So the fire was setting off bullets. The fire department said, we can't go in. They had to let the house burn down. You see these extreme cases. The big question is why? And I know it's layered and it's complex, and you study it and you teach it, and it's not something that you can explain in any level of depth on a podcast, but on a surface level, as someone who teaches it, do you have is there an accepted reasoning of the why in some people's minds this is a preferable way to live, or they don't see this as an impediment to life, they see it as a positive?
I can totally talk about that. How much time do we have? I meant to look at my clock, but I didn't when we started.
32 minutes left on this fascinating conversation.
And so when I go to my therapist, I plan out on an index card what I need to get through in those 50 minutes. So in our 32 minutes, I just want to make sure we are like at a good place. So first of all, let me just say about people who are in the more extreme circumstances, those people deserve compassion. We never know who is what level of hoarding disorder or what level of impairment is in the house. But I want to say recovery is possible for everyone, and no one deserves the label of hoarder pointed in their face. People don't deserve meanness and insults. That's not how we help people get better. So I when I teach classes, sometimes I facilitate peer groups sometimes, and people can be all ranges of levels of hoarding, clutter ratings. And I never want anyone to feel bad, whatever level. If they're at 11 on the scale of 10, as far as how hard things are in their house, I don't want them to feel bad. I never do. I think, it's like a constant battle that I'm fighting to bring compassion to people. And the reason, first of all, we use the H word, that's not like a clinical word that we need to use. I mean, I have depression, but no one walks around and they don't go, oh, there she is, the depressive, right? But we call people hoarders, and it's not okay because it doesn't do any good. So sometimes though people will self-refer and they'll say, no, this is my preference. I would like to be called that. And then I'll be like, okay, I will honor your wishes, but I will never put that label upon somebody, not even privately at the water cooler. And you know what? The person who founded the field of hoarding disorder, I've known him for 20-something years. I have never in my life heard that man call anyone a hoarder. Never have. And so when I teach, I'm like, hey, if Dr. Frost doesn't need to use the word hoarder, then certainly none of us do either. We don't need to. So, it takes the humanity away when we call people the H word. It's really pointing a finger. Now, I will say, sometimes people want to call people that because they have had really heavy heavy childhoods, and it can be neglect and it can be abuse. Those things happen in all kinds of homes, whether there's stuff or not. But when you see that kind of situation in a house with stuff, and then we call, let's say we call the adult kids because we're like, hey, your mom's house, I'm getting nuisance calls about it. And then we call the 40-year-old kid and be like, hey, this is code enforcement. Can you help? We got to clean out. You need to clean out all your mom's stuff. Meanwhile, this person didn't have a life while they were growing up, maybe. So this is what I'm trying to shine a light on so people can be compassionate all around. I'm welcoming everyone to get better. I want people who are, extremely burdened by this to come out of their homes and say, I want to see what help is about. Let's try this. And I want people with kids to say, you know what, I have kids, but I need help. A lot of times people with kids don't reach out. It's hidden more because they're afraid they're going to lose their kids. And no one wants that. And our systems don't want to take children away either. They don't want to do that. That is not what they want to do. But it's a scary prospect for people. And so whenever I can bring everyone to the same level and let us all see the facets of it, I'm really glad when I can do that. So you asked about what causes it, right?
Yeah. The big why.
Okay. The big why. Okay. Do you have any, I'm curious to know if you have any guesses.
I would imagine that...
Any preconceived notions?
Let's see. Societally, stab in the dark, guess maybe people who grow up in poverty develop an irrational fear of not having anything, so they gather too much. That some of it might be...
That's a good one, and guess what?
What?
That was on my list, number one, to see if you were going to guess that one.
It's conditioning as a kid. Poverty conditioning as a youth.
The first one isn't right, though.
What, in terms of what?
So let's start with... The first one isn't right. Poverty does not cause hoarding disorder.
Is this a common misconception, or am I just an asshole?
Yes, it's the biggest misconception in the world. Because everyone I meet goes, oh yeah, I know someone and they lived through the Depression.
I was just going to say,
why they're
the Depression thing. That's a popular
research
myth.
has shown, no, guess what? The whole country lived through the Depression, and we didn't have a significant number. All these people have hoarding disorder now, and they all, people were poor. Lots of people were poor, but we don't have numbers that would support that as the cause.
Okay.
Poverty is not the cause. It strikes people, anybody, man, woman, anything, wherever you live, however much money, whether it's little or whether it's heaps. There's really no one that is kind of out of the range, It can happen to anybody. And so causes. So there is some heredity involvement there. It can be up to 50% heritable. You might see it running through families. That's not uncommon. So that's one way, the biology. And other reasons are, and we can never say why for another person, and oftentimes, people can't say for themselves. Everybody's different. And if I don't know something about someone, I know to ask, and I want everybody else to do that too. We can't make any assumptions when it comes to this or really anything about someone's life. But, it can happen through traumas, like maybe someone had a death in the family or a burglary, something like that can really, it's kind of a trauma-oriented thing, can bring it on for someone. Yeah, a lot of times people, when someone dies, that's a big one. But there are so many reasons. And also there is a thought about people who have grown up in high control environments, like authoritarian kind of parenting might. And also, there are questions about attachment too. So we all don't attach to our loved ones in the beginning the same, and it really does make a difference in how we live our life. And I'm going to get on my soapbox now, and I want to put like big lights and marquee up. We got to take care of little kids, because that's why all these adults are growing up messed up, because we are just like glossing over. We're just having kids, and then we're just like expecting them to fit in with our lives. And we have got to take absolutely direct care of our children's mental health. And if I were going to go to school over again, I would get a PhD in infants' mental health, because I think it is so under-regarded. Infants have mental health. When you see a baby, that baby has mental health, but we act like it doesn't.
So there's trauma there. It can start very young. It can be passed on. And the next thing you know, you're surrounded by stuff. How often do people understand that something unusual is happening versus they see their circumstance and go, no, this is what a house is?
So I want to just go back just one moment to add to what you were saying when you mentioned it could be learned. That's another way, because let's say you grow up in a house that's heavy content and excessive keeping, and you might not know how to live differently because that's all you've known. So sometimes people just need to learn, when they get out of those homes. But anyone can recover. Yeah. You were asking me how often people know that they have a problem. First of all, it's not like, and then there's too much stuff. No, it happens like trickle, trickle, trickle. And then, depends. It depends how someone acquires and what their style of keeping is and when that begins. Yeah, it doesn't, everyone's like, we want this fixed up right now. Guess what? It took 40 years to get that way, So it takes time for people to accumulate. It doesn't happen overnight. So it's never it's not like suddenly you wake up one day and your house is full. It's not like that. But people know. I think that it's a hard position to be in, because people are wanting to point the finger and label and yell or taunt. Like, people usually around this subject are not speaking to people compassionately about it. Like you said, there's a freak show element a lot of times when people want to talk about it, but where was I going? It doesn't happen overnight, and people do know. That's what I was going to say. People are thought to be in denial, but there are some cases where that's true. I'm trying to think of the word. I know it. What's the word when you have no insight? Anasinosia? Anyway, it's a word that I know and love to throw out, but apparently age is getting in my way right now. But people do know, but people might deny it, because what happens if they claim it? Then people just it's like a free-for-all for abuse, Like if you say that you have that, it lets people be mean to you a lot of the time, unfortunately. It opens it opens the door to meanness a lot of times because people are really being accusatory, or, it's usually not like an easy conversation for people to have. And so a person's gut reaction could be like, no, I don't have a problem. But that's the way people can react for any issue. It's just like drinking. How many people who drink, quote, too much, how many people know that they drink too much? I don't know what they'd say if we asked, They'd probably say, no, I don't drink too much.
In regards to recovery, I imagine it can take on many forms. I want to put a hypothetical out there for your opinion on it, which is sometimes I would imagine, though, somebody's going to wind up with a dumpster in their driveway, and people who love them are just going to start throwing stuff out. And I would have to imagine how often, because on some level you go, this is a sickness. This is something that people need help with. And if you clear out a person's apartment, make it totally orderly, spick and span by the average definition, is it just going to start up again? But are there ever people who, if you can just convince them to get that dumpster in the driveway and they clear it all out once, that there's people who go, phew, that got out of control, and then moving forward, it's a non-issue? Does that happen? I think that's a pretty good question. I think the answer is going to be fascinating. We'll learn about it when we get back. Cold mornings, holiday plans. This is when I want my wardrobe to be simple. I want it to be a no-brainer. I want stuff that looks sharp, feels good, and have it be things that I'll actually wear. And for me, that means shopping through Quince. Quince is incredible. And the bonus, Quince pieces make great gifts too, everybody. Holidays are coming. You're going to want to check out Quince. This season's lineup is simple but smart and easy with Quince. $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters that feel like an everyday luxury, and wool coats that are equal parts stylish and durable. Their denim nails the fit and everyday comfort, all at a fraction of what you'd expect to pay. And by partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middlemen to deliver premium quality at half the cost of other high-end brands. So you can give luxury quality pieces without that luxury price tag. Incredible gift idea through Quince. I can personally vouch for these sweaters. They sell sweaters that hold up great, look good, feel good, and honest to God, just a better quality product than you're buying at even some high-end places out there. I have been blown away at how well my sweaters have held up, let alone the fact that I feel good and look good in them. Give and get timeless holiday staples that last this season with Quince. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Holidays are here, everybody. They're coming. You got a lot of people to buy for. You're probably stocking up on gifts. And I bet you're like me. You start obsessing over what everyone else is getting, but you don't always treat yourself. Maybe that's something that needs to happen right now. Could be long overdue. Take care of yourself this year, and one really great way to do it, and this is very for real, make your gift to self extraordinary this year with Bowl and Branch sheets. Bowl and Branch is such good stuff. Really, really quality. Bowl and Branch's best sale of the year is also happening now with 25% off site-wide. Start with Bowl and Branch's best-selling signature sheets, made with the perfect balance of softness and breathability for your best sleep. Their signature sheets get softer with every wash and are made with the highest quality 100% organic cotton. All Bowl and Branch bedding, from blankets and throws to pillows and duvets, are made with exceptional quality and durability, and it's all on sale now. Comes with a 30-night guarantee, by the way, so you can shop worry-free. I love my Bowl and Branch. I just changed the sheets on my bed yesterday and put the Bowl and Branch on, and when I realized that they were up in the rotation, I honestly let out a sigh of happiness. They are great sheets, just honestly great sheets. I also have the waffle blanket, which it's now cold where I'm living, and that waffle blanket is doing the trick, which is actually almost eerie because in the summer, it's my favorite blanket too because of the way that it breathes. I just love it. There's no comparison between Boll and Branch and bedding I've used in the past. None. It's really great stuff. Give yourself and your loved ones the most extraordinary feeling sleep with 25% off site-wide, plus free shipping and extended returns during Boll and Branch's best sale of the year. Shop now at bollandbranch.com/beautiful. Use the code beautiful. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com/beautiful. Code beautiful. Get 25% off. Exclusions apply. Thanks to all the advertisers who help us bring this show to the world. Now let's finish the phone call. But are there ever people who, if you can just convince them to get that dumpster in the driveway and they clear it all out once, that there's people who go, phew, that got out of control, and then moving forward, it's a non-issue? Does that happen?
I have never personally heard of that experience. I have heard that kind of relief from family members, but I have not ever been told that was a good experience by someone who had to do it. And this is a mental health condition, by the way. It's in the DSM. It used to go under OCD, but it's totally separate from OCD now because OCD there's no pleasure in OCD. But in hoarding disorder, the difference is there is some pleasure possible in hoarding disorder because people can enjoy acquiring things. People can feel comfort from having their things around them. So guess what? It's about twice as common as OCD.
Whoa. Really? Everybody tosses around the phrase OCD these days.
I know. But this is twice as prevalent. Can you believe that? What was I teaching the other day? In Massachusetts, statistically speaking, we have about 350,000 people living in the state with a clutter level that is really higher than is healthy and for people to live unimpaired. 350,000 people. Now, if we go to people over 50, it's 170,000 live in crisis in the state of Massachusetts.
In crisis?
And we don't see it. And there's not really help.
Who knew? Who knew this was so widespread?
Who knew? It is. It's so common. I mean, anytime I go anywhere, who knows somebody who's close to... People are always raising hands. Everyone wants to talk to me about it. People really do relate. But unfortunately, it's been such a hush-hush thing forever. I mean, this isn't a new thing. This is like forever. And it's actually the Collier brothers are why my professor got into this study, because one of his students, her mom would say, "You're going to wind up like the Collier brothers." And so she went into my professor. She's like, "What's the deal with the Collier brothers?" And so she started studying, and then he found that it was different than OCD. And so it did begin, the field kind of began with the Collier brothers. So I think that's pretty cool, actually, that their situation was so unfortunate, but it's taught us a lot. And, the cleanouts, people can have heart attacks when their home is cleaned out. We try not to do that. It used to be the thing to do, just the to-do, Nowadays, though, there's the Fair Housing Act, which allows people to have accommodations if they're working on this kind of problem in their home, because it is a mental health issue. It's also, it's something that can be seen in brain scans. Like, this is so cool. One of the things that I love. So let's say we're putting two people into a functional MRI machine, and one person is asked to sort, the person with hoarding disorder is asked to sort their own mail, okay? And then they're going to sort someone's mail that they don't know. Well, they're doing the person that they don't know, and it's like easy, okay? Then they get to their own mail, And that's where they get stuck. And you can see this in the different brain imaging from people who don't have hoarding disorder and asked to do these tasks and people that do. And so it's like parts of the brain are overreactive and other parts are underreactive in what they should be doing. But people think, oh, they're lazy, they're slobbish. No, this is not caused by laziness. This is not a choice. It truly is not a choice. Like, it's in our genes potentially, and then it gets turned on. We can control it, though. We can. And my hope is that with less stigma, like, do you remember those commercials with the fried eggs, your brain on
this
drugs?
Is your brain on drugs?
Those?
Yeah, of course. I'm a child of the 80s, yeah.
So I wish we could have not something nasty like that, because I remember her kid thought the mom was on drugs. You're on drugs, Mom. You're on drugs, because she was frying an egg. So I don't want it to be like that, but I would like such a widespread campaign about what hoarding is and how it can touch anybody. And I would welcome people to talk about it and get help and work on, their thinking, their emotions, and their behavior to make some changes. It requires lifestyle change. It can be done. And I hope to start reaching people earlier. Like, I really want to reach people college age. That's where I want to. So, do I have time to tell you a little bit of a branch off story?
Sure. I had a couple questions, but I want to hear your story.
Okay. So my partner and I, he ended up getting help and he recovered and life changed. It took a long time, but I was there and yada, yada, yada. And then he's professionally speaking about his recovery. And then I join him because I'm like, family members need this too, because there was no one for me when I was looking for help as a family member. And so it became our profession. And now we're apart. And I'm making my own path now. It used to be so-and-so and so-and-so. We came like a team,
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, here I am. Just me, and I feel kind of like a newly born fawn or something. Like, I'm just getting my legs, like drying out from the experience, figuring out what my future looks like. What questions did you have?
I mean, so first of all, is he still also speaking in the field, or has he moved on to?
Yeah, no, he is. No, he does. He's awesome at what he does.
Did you get that ring finger? Did you get that tattoo removed?
No, and so I'm actually thinking. It looks like maybe I could put yellow or peach on top of it, and that might be easier than the 10 episodes of laser removal. So I might try to do a cover up. It doesn't have to be perfect, just not a solid band like I have. Band-Aids do work though.
I bet. When someone's recovering from hoarding behavior, if they wind up in a physical living space that's objectively more orderly, in some cases cleaner, although I don't want to paint everything with that brush. If they wind up in a space like that, but they are truly miserable, versus they were in a situation with hoarding behaviors, but they felt at peace, what is preferable?
That's a really great question. So a lot of times people who don't know what this is about and have a feel for it, they'll see a clean room and they'll think, well, the person, of course, they're going to be happier in that shiny, clean, orderly place. Of course they are, right? That's a common assumption that's wrong. No, like you said, the comfort level and such is important, but what we can do is talk about harm reduction. Do you know about harm reduction in the drug sphere?
I know
Have
about
you
it
heard
in the
of that?
drug context, yeah, that rather than demonize and arrest people for drugs, that perhaps finding ways to have drugs consumed safely under the watchful eye of people who can take care of you leads to more long-term
look at you rock.
long-term positive results in terms of getting addiction down.
A++. That was awesome, sir. Yes. So we apply that to hoarding. And so what we do, first of all, is we want to make sure that people are safe. Safety, health and safety is number one priority when I am helping someone with a hoarding situation. Safety and health. Now, I'll tell you, I've taught in Australia a few times, and the reason Australia had me teach is because 25% of fire deaths are related to hoarding. Let me repeat that. 25% of fire deaths are related to hoarding.
Whoa.
So 1 out of 4 deaths from a fire are related to hoarding disorder. And so Australia thinks of it as a public health issue, and they prioritize it around the whole country. They're really working on it. And here, of course, we don't have any kind of system like that. It's like, good luck getting help anywhere. But there I went to a meeting. I went to a meeting at Parliament House in Sydney, which was amazing because it was all these lawmakers who wanted to find out. They wanted to learn about it so their constituents could get the help they need. Pretty cool. But here we don't have, we have so many problems here. And, you know, it's like overwhelm across the board, I think, especially nowadays.
I want to get a sense of the timeline.
Did I answer you or not?
You did. I mean, you have such a beautiful way of answering me and also giving me so much more than I ever asked for. It's the best.
Good.
I want to know the timeline. So you're with this person, you wind up married, tattoo on the ring finger, realize that there's hoarding disorder happening. Wind up running a speaking business together. But at what point are you, I want to know the timeline of when you are together romantically, when you're not, and how much hoarding had to do with that, how much running a business had to do with that. That's pretty fascinating. It
is also interesting. I just wish all of it wasn't my story sometimes. But it's pretty dense with situations. So the timeline. So we got married, and then I think we were moving after about a year into our marriage. And that's when I learned that he had an attachment to all his stuff. Because, you know, if someone has hoarding disorder, it's like a visceral attachment to pretty much all the things. If they have an ability to discard and let go, they probably aren't affected by hoarding disorder. But it's when you get that like really strong, that rigid, no, I'm not getting rid of anything kind of thing, that you might know that you're bumping into it. So we were married for about a year. And then I didn't know what to do. I knew that help existed in the world because I knew my professor was the start of it. And, you know, he's the guy who's on 60 Minutes and everything. And so I had hope that people could get better, but I didn't know how that would happen then. But I knew if Dr. Randy Frost is in the world and he and his colleagues are working on this, a person can get better. And so that kind of put like a Band-Aid on my heart, you know, that hope. And I think what happened was what would happen with any family members. There was a lot of, you know, back and forth, like, we got to take care of this. You know, I don't have space I don't have space for me is what I ended up saying to get him to get help. I don't have space for me. There's like no me in this apartment. There's like, I look around, there's just no me because it's all taken over by the other person. So the person with the stuff controls the space. So control is definitely an issue that needs to be negotiated when we're talking about hoarding. Control, comfort, anxiety, attachment, it's so complicated. So I started asking him to get a professional organizer because I didn't know what to do. No, he would do it because he's capable of doing anything. He could do it if he can't. I believed he could, but it wasn't getting done. So then I looked for help for me because you can't control other people. So I looked for help for me, and it was all about how to help the other person. And then the show wanted me to apply, and I was like, no, thank you. So then, get this, my work newsletter at the time, which who reads those, right? It was in paper at the time, and I actually took the moments to read it. And there was a study in there for people who had too much stuff and an over-attachment to things. And I couldn't believe that was right in front of my face because he had not been receptive to other things I suggested, but I didn't really have much to suggest. But when I saw this, I said, hey, will you do this? Will you be a part of this study? Because all roads lead back to this guy, and he's a good guy in the field. Will you do this? And he said yes. And so his recovery began with his entry into a study where they asked him to part with one important possession. And they ask, what's your level of distress at this moment as you're handing this to us? Okay, it's going to be pretty high probably for people who are parting with something that they don't want to let go of. But then they track it over time. They track distress level over time. And what we've learned is if we can have distress tolerance, our distress will go down. It will go down if we can keep up with our distress tolerance. And so that's what they showed. They showed at the beginning, people can't let go. And then they showed that people themselves learn that their attachment feeling can lessen with time and getting through it. So then he started working on it. Then I'm laughing because it's so unbelievable and incredible. Then he started working with my professor, and the two of them developed the gold standard of care in the field. So here I am, and I'm like, oh my gosh, one of my favorite professors and my husband are working together. That's wild. I can remember when I introduced them at a film festival, and I was like a giddy fangirl then. I was like, oh, you got to meet Dr. Frost. And so he started working on it. And Dr. Frost said, I need someone to do these workshops. And this person said, guess what? I will do them all. And he dedicated himself, Chris. He dedicated himself to working to develop this program and to facilitate it. And he did it. He did it. But I will say, and I have said this before, I wanted a marriage and I got a career. And you know what? I would have preferred a marriage. My whole life turned into being about hoarding disorder. What we did was we took lemons and we made some lemonade, and it just wasn't the drink that either of us needed at the end, you know?
So,
we realized that.
All told, how long were you married for?
20 years.
20 years. Wow.
About 20 years.
Stood
it's
by
hard
each
for me
other.
to believe. So yeah.
Our time is up, but this
But
has been a fascinating
there's an
one.
outside and there's an inside. Mm-hmm.
This has been a very fascinating
Thanks.
call on something I know very little about, although I am proud that I pulled the Collier brothers out of my memory. But a fascinating call.
That was great. And yeah, you're good. You've got some chops in your mental health work. For sure. There's a monument to them. There's like a little tiny park dedicated to them where they lived. And
That's very nice.
It's so small you can't believe all the stuff that was in there. They had a stagecoach in their cars, pianos, like huge things. It's so hard to believe they fit. But when people have stuff and they're attached to it, they can make it fit. It's amazing. It's like a clown car of stuff,
Our time is up. Are you ready to go behind the paywall, answer 5 questions, let people know you beyond the things that have been brought up here for free?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Well done. Thank you so much, caller. Caller, thank you so much for calling and filling us in on a topic that I think everybody has heard of, but has never heard that much about. Thanks. I feel like I know more and have more avenues towards compassion because of that call. Thank you. And thanks to our producer, Andrea Quinn. Thanks to Shellshag for the theme music. Punchup.live/Chris Gethard if you want to come see me live. I got dates up in New Jersey and Burlington, Vermont right now. We got a voicemail line. It's 973-306-4676. We're on Instagram at Beautiful Anonymous Pod. Also join the Facebook group to discuss episodes with very kind people. Please let people know we exist. It's how the show survives. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. This is now the part where you leave a question that will be asked to our next caller.
Okay, the question is, describe a good salad. Is that a question?
That's...
Sorry, switch it up.
That is...
What would you put in a salad?
No,
how's that? What would you put in a salad?
There is not a world in which I am typing anything except describe a good salad. It's different. It's different,
Okay.
And I like it better. Not what would you put in a good salad, but really close your eyes, take a deep breath, and describe a good salad as it exists in your mind.
Uh-huh. I can't wait to hear what people think of that. I'm curious.
One of my favorite questions. There's 274 questions on this list, and it's one of my favorite ones. Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.